This is in 2014.
Okay.
This is in the summer of 2014. And we were working at a place, strangely enough, in Montana, a wildlife sanctuary that was rehabilitating some animals. And we had the opportunity to work with a porcupine. And it was a juvenile porcupine, probably, not a baby, but also not full-scale porcupine. And the idea of the episode was just to teach people the basic facts about porcupines, right? And when we set up the scene, we obviously didn't want to do it in an enclosure. We wanted it to look as wild as possible, even though we made it very clear this is a porcupine that's being rehabilitated. It's going to eventually, hopefully, end up back out in the wild, but we wanted the scene to be in the wild. So the handlers brought it in like a little like cat or dog carrying case out of the wild. And when they took it out of the little enclosure, the guy had on a leather glove that went all the way up to his shoulder. And I was like, wow, well, that's a crazy glove. And I clearly understood so that you wouldn't get quilled. That's why I had on a glove. I'm like, do I get a glove? He's like, well, not unless you plan on getting quilled. And I was like, well, what would happen if I did get quilled? And then he went into this explanation of why most people don't know how porcupine quills work. And me and my director and producers at the time were sitting there listening to this. We're like, dude, this is really interesting. Like, can we do this? And he's like, you want to get quilled by the porcupine? I'm like, I don't know, how bad can it really be? And he's like, knock yourself out. So
Boone knows.
Boone probably does know. So obviously we weren't going to take a dog or a cat or anything like that and put it in the situation of let's quill a pet. But, the guard hairs and the way they work on the back of a porcupine essentially cause a reaction, a muscle reaction in the back rump of the porcupine that just causes it to go whap like that. And it essentially pumps air into those quills. They pop up and then they go into something. But that air pressure is what forces these little microscopic barbs to essentially jut out and get stuck into something. It's why you can't just pull them out. And this is what most people don't know. They're like, oh, I've got a bunch of quills in my dog's face. I'm gonna just yank them out. And you're just ripping out, gouging chunks of flesh, right? You cut off the back of the quill and it releases the air pressure in them. So we ended up demonstrating this. Long story short, it was incredibly painful.
That would have been a handy trick to know several times in my life. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. Well, then now you know that the next time little Boone here or Big Boone here gets quills in his nose, snip the back end of the quill. It will release the air pressure and those barbs will relax so that you can then twist and pull the quill out without there being any remnants of the barbs stuck in the skin, which of course then could lead to an infection. Okay, Boone, so we got you taken care of.
Yeah, that beats a headlock and a pair of needle nose pliers for sure.
and I'm telling you, like, this was the most unprofessionally produced piece of content that we had shot the entire run of Breaking Trail. Not because of the fact that the porcupine never wanted to sit still, or probably because I was a little bit of a sissy in how I was going to eventually first get quilled by the porcupine, because I did it a couple times to make sure that I got a good handful of quills. Because the first time you do it, you are kind of nervous, and I'd never done anything like this before. And to squash any of the misnomers, porcupines do not shoot their quills.
Yeah.
They cannot shoot quills. It's all about just that fast reaction. Like when the doctor checks your reflexes in your knee and hits you with the hammer and your knee juts out, same thing that a porcupine does when something touches the guard hairs. So when they become agitated, if a grizzly bear, mountain lion, bobcat comes in the situation, curl into a ball, boom, you get a snout full of quills, it's going to be a bad day. So after we filmed this, the lighting was terrible. We had to move parts around with the episode. We spent a lot of time before actually putting the episode out. It was probably maybe the, 15th piece of content that we ever put out on the YouTube channel. And it went gangbusters. And we, from a production standpoint,
everybody wants to see somebody get tagged by a porcupine.
Yeah, well, we didn't know that at the time. We didn't know that people were going to be like, ooh, this guy got hurt on purpose. This is entertaining. I mean, at the time, I think we had less than 10,000 subscribers, but the video had gotten to like 100,000 views. And we were like, oh my gosh, like 100,000 views, like blew our minds, right? And then we were like, okay, maybe there's something to this. And that really is the first thing that started us at least being cued into the fact that, you becoming the human guinea pig in these crazy experiments might be a direction to go. That led to me getting intentionally bitten by an alligator snapping turtle, which then led to harvester ants, which then led to fire ants, which then led to the insect sting pain index in 2016. And that's when Brave Wilderness really went from a channel just, 100,000 people knew to like the kind of viral sensation that now really doesn't happen unless you're Mr. Beast, but people read about, like, bro, you remember back in the day when things went legit viral? Like, we got to be a part of when YouTube really allowed things to go viral in a way that they just really don't today.
For the full episode we got this clip from, click that top video there. For more clips,
Click that playlist right there. You got time for one more, man. Tell them there was traffic or something. Ooh, tell them there was a bear. Someone's gonna be like, how big was the bear? It's a good excuse.